Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's morning here, and the sun is coming up, and it's so beautiful. That's one of the things I love about going to the beach. I love going to the beach. I don't like the sand, but I love going to hear the water, listen to the water, look at the sunrise and the sunset. It's a beautiful thing, just looking at God's creation. You know, it's just so beautiful how he made everything, and he thought of everything and everything that we need and everything that we could hope for, and still does above and beyond, giving us life and life more abundantly. Sorry, I went right into everything, but giving honor and glory to God, for he is our reasonable service. He created us all for a reason. But my name is Tamika Collins, and you are on my YouTube channel. Like I said, I just woke up, so I probably got a little raspy voice. But you can also follow me on my Facebook page at Tamika Collins. You can follow me on my TikTok as Coffee, which is COFEPH. You can follow me on my Instagram, which is Coffee Sings, which is COFEPHSINGS, all one word. And we are reading the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Thank you so much for sticking with me and enjoying. Well, I hope that you are enjoying hearing about the word of the Lord, listening and reading about the word of the Lord also. We're in chapter 30 of Genesis, recapping chapter 29. Jacob, excuse me, Jacob has gone to his grandfather's descendants, pretty much, and he sees Rachel, who is one of his older distant cousins, and he wants to marry her. So Rachel is excited, goes to see his kinfolks, which is Laban, her dad, and he stays there and works for him for 7 years because he wants to marry Rachel. So that was his, I guess you could say, promise or covenant, or, his reward for staying there to work for him for 7 years was to have Rachel. But Laban tricks him on his wedding night and gives him the older sister, Leah, which Jacob did not want. But so he ends up working for him for another 7 years to get Rachel, because it was customary for them to marry the oldest daughter first. The oldest daughter cannot be not married and give the youngest daughter away. So he ended up marrying Rachel a few weeks after marrying Leah, and Leah was the one that had the babies, had 4 of the children, and that's pretty much where we are. We were talking about the fact of, Jacob being upset that he had been tricked, but Jacob had been doing some tricks himself throughout his years of being here with Esau, taking his birthright and taking his blessings that dad left him. Okay, so we in chapter 30. All right, and it reads as such: when Rachel saw that she wasn't having any children for Jacob, she became jealous of her sister. She pleaded with Jacob, "Give me children or I'll die." Then Jacob became furious with Rachel. "Am I God?" he asked. He's the one who has kept you from having children. Then Rachel told him, take my maid Bala and sleep with her. She will bear children for me, and through her I can have a family too. So Rachel gave her servant Bala to Jacob, and through her gave her servant Bala to Jacob as a wife. And he slept with her. Bala became pregnant and presented him with a son. Rachel named him Dan, for she said, God has vindicated me. He has heard my request and given me a son. Then Bala became pregnant again and gave Jacob a second son. Rachel named him Naphtali, for she said, I have struggled hard with my sister and I'm winning. Meanwhile, Leah realized that she wasn't getting pregnant anymore, so she took her servant Zilpah and gave her to Jacob as a wife. Soon, Zilpah presented him with a son. Leah named him Gad, for she had said, how fortunate I am. Then Zilpah had Jacob a second son, and Leah named him Asher, for she said, what joy is mine. Now the other women will celebrate with me. They're doing a lot. They're doing a lot. Jealousy. But they're doing a lot. One day during the wheat harvest, Reuben found some mandrakes growing in a field and brought them to his mother, Leah. Rachel begged Leah, please give me some of your son's mandrakes. But Leah angrily replied, wasn't it enough that you stole my husband? Now will you steal my son's mandrakes too? Rachel answered, I will let Jacob sleep with you tonight if you give me some of the mandrakes. So that evening, as Jacob was coming home from the fields, Leah went out to meet him. You must come and sleep with me tonight, she said. I have paid for you with some mandrakes that my son found. So that night he slept with Leah, and God answered Leah's prayer. She became pregnant again and gave birth to a fifth son for Jacob. She named him Issachar, for she said, God has rewarded me for giving my servant to my husband as a wife. Then Leah became pregnant again and gave birth to the sixth son for Jacob. She named him Zebulun, for she said, God has given me a good reward. Now my husband will treat me with respect, for I have given him 6 sons. Later she gave birth to a daughter and named her Dinah. Then God remembered Rachel's plight and answered her prayers by enabling her to have children. She became pregnant and gave birth to a son. God has removed my disgrace, she said, and she named him Joseph. For she said, may the Lord add yet another son to my family. Soon after Rachel had given birth to Joseph, Jacob said to Laban, please release me so I can go home to my own country. Let me take my wives and children, for I have earned them by serving you, and let me be on my way. You certainly know how hard I have worked for you. Please listen to me. Laban replied, I have become wealthy, for the Lord has blessed me because of you. Tell me how much I owe you. Whatever it is, I'll pay it. Jacob replied, you know how hard I've worked for you, and how your flocks and herds have grown under my care. You had little indeed before I came, but your wealth has increased enormously. The Lord has blessed you through everything I've done. But now, what about me? When can I start providing for my own family? What wages do you want? Laban asked again. Jacob replied, don't give me anything. Just do this one thing, and I'll continue to tend and watch over your flocks. Let me inspect the flocks today and remove all the sheep and goats that are speckled or spotted, along with all the black sheep. Give these to me as my wages. In the future, when you check on the animals you have given me as my wages, you'll see that I have been honest. If you find any of the flock of if you find in my flock any goats without speckles or spots, or any sheep that aren't black, you will know that I have stolen them from you. All right, Laban replied, it will be as you say. For that very day, Laban went out and removed the male goats that were streaked, spotted, all the female goats that were speckled and spotted and had white patches, and all the black sheep. He placed them in care of his sons, who took them a 3 days' journey from where Jacob was. Meanwhile, Jacob stayed and cared for the rest of Laban's flock. Then Jacob took some fresh branches from poplar, almond, and plane trees and peeled off strips of bark, making white streaks on them. When he placed them, then he placed these peeled branches in the watering troughs where the flocks came to drink, for that was where they mated. And when they mated in front of white streaked branches, they gave birth to young that were streaked, speckled, and spotted. Jacob separated those lambs from Laban's flock, and at mating time he turned the flock to face Laban's animals that were streaked or black. This is how he built his own flock instead of increasing Laban's. Whenever the stronger females were ready to mate, Jacob would place the peeled branches in the watering troughs in the front of them. Then they would mate in front of the branches. But he didn't do this with the weaker ones. So the weaker lambs belonged to Laban, and the stronger ones were Jacob's. As a result, Jacob became very wealthy with large flocks of sheep and goats, females and male servants, and many camels and donkeys. Once again, he has been blessed to find a way to build on his foundation because he's ready to leave. And so Laban has promised him that he can have all the spotted goats and sheep and streaked goats and sheep and lambs and things for himself when they get ready to leave. And so, as you can see or heard, that he took these certain kind of branches and let them drink the water that had these branches in them, and it produced these strong, streaked, spotted animals. And so he was promised those, and that's what he got. So once again, Jacob has, I guess you could say, still tricked Laban, but he's well due to it. He has worked for 14 probably plus years because 14 more than 14 years, because he worked 7 years for Rachel and ended up getting Leah, so he had to work another 7 to get Rachel, and so they having competition, having babies. Not I, said the cat. But anywho, I hope that you have a wonderful morning, day, night, and continue to pay attention to God's creation. It's everywhere. It's in the trees, it's in the sky, it's in the clouds, it's in the wind, it's in us, because He is in us. His fingertips, He made everything. So admire and give honor and praise to God for everything that He's made is good. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Peace.